Chapter 36. Laura was so glad Jeff hadn't put up a fight. He had made it easy for her. She wasn't sure she had the strength to murder all of them, though. She had been hoping with both girls together that their shadow creatures would materialize and kill everyone for her. Violence was repulsive for her to commit. She scrutinized the others. In their eyes, behind shock, stood dread and anger. The girls shrank away. Charlie waddled forward, shielding them, raising his arms in an apparent attempt to pacify Laura. This was the reaction she had been afraid of. She needed their trust, but killing them herself was, of course, going to shatter trust. She knew the truth. These people had some idea of it, but didn't fully accept it yet. She didn't blame them. The truth was very difficult to accept. "I didn't kill them." They stood silent. Charlie's eyes shot to the blood oozing from Jeff's multiple chest wounds, pooling beside the corpse. The thick liquid slowly soaked into the white carpet, staining it forever. She pleaded, "This isn't real." Donald was shaking his head in disgust. "It's just a dream, a place we've made up, together." The girl's eyes were locked onto her right hand at her side. She looked down. Jeff's blood dripped off the stainless steel blade in her white-knuckled fist, creating a pattern of red droplets next to a curious purple crystal on the floor. She relaxed her grip on the blade, laughed, and waved it in the air. "This isn't real." Charlie backed up, pushing the children further away. Trickling desperation began eroding her resolve. No one was listening. With less conviction, she said, "He's safe at the hospital, believe me." Charlie glanced at Jeff's dead body. "If he went to the hospital, why didn't he disappear like the girls?" She hesitated in confusion. "I'm not sure. I haven't worked out all the details, but I know he's not dead." Her voice cracked on the last word. She struggled to make sense of this. "Maybe it's because he didn't disappear in the dark. We all could see him, so we needed his body here to make sense of it. It's for us to make this place appear real." Everyone was staring at her as if she were a raving lunatic. Laura felt terribly uncomfortable. She was not a psychopathic killer. She wasn't used to this much unified shock and social rejection. But the worst part of it was that she really liked these people, and it felt wrong to have them distrust her so completely. "Look, I do know we need to get out of here. That's what I know." She turned to Donald, searching his eyes, hoping he would back her up. She had come to him first, after all, telling him the whole truth 8 days ago. Perhaps he would be the person best able to assimilate her current actions as instrumental. "Why don't you put the knife down?" he ordered, pulling out blackness from his overcoat. She hated those dark globs. Where did they come from? They shouldn't exist. Little Grazé raised himself on his front paws high, peeling back his lips and growling at the big man. "You don't understand," she begged. "I'm on your side." "Sure you are. You just told us you're part of the research team." "Was part of it. Then you killed Jeff." "I didn't kill him. put the knife down and maybe we'll talk." She looked to Charlie for compassion and understanding. His usual cherubic face was tight and white. "Just put it down, Laura. You're scaring the kids." She didn't want to put it down. She needed to get them to the hospital fast. Jeff would need them soon. He wouldn't know what to do, where to go, and how to safely get out of the hospital. Things were in motion now. She would keep the knife. These people were allowing their emotions to control them rather than logic. In time, they would come around, yet there was no time. She thought that she could possibly eliminate Charlie before Donald could hit her with the black blobs. But then the children would be on their own, and Charlie was the least important to eliminate. "Guys, please listen. Jeff is alive. He is at the hospital. You have to believe me." "Drop the knife," Donald ordered. With great reluctance, she put the knife on the coffee table, but she didn't back away. He still held the roiling darkness in his right hand, the concentrated night which could dispatch her from this world and eliminate all hope of saving them. She prayed his heart was virtuous and incorrupt, as Jeff's was. The trembling girls peeked around Charlie's rolls of fat, causing Laura's heart to drop. "It's okay, you guys," she reassured. "Really, you don't need to be afraid." "Why did you stab Jeff?" Tina accused. "You know, to get him to the hospital." "Bind her wrists," Donald told Charlie. "No," she screamed. Confinement would mean loss of power to save everyone else. Little Grazé barked at Charlie, lowering his four-legged body into a springing stance, making a few threatening false starts toward the enormous man. "I'm sorry," she apologized, "but you're not listening. We need to get out of here." She longed for her best friend Samantha, who she had met in Al-Anon meetings 7 years ago. Samantha had supported and been there for her through rough times. This woman was an anchor for Laura, an uncommon strength in the chaos of life. Both of them had shared the uncontrollable nature of an alcoholic in their lives. "Get out of where?" Charlie argued. "I've never seen this hospital. I don't think I ever want to go there either. I just want to be safe with my Tina." "Isn't the way to the hospital through the darkness?" Ashley asked meekly. Charlie began to inch his way towards Laura, despite Grazé's threatening demeanor. "Think, Ashley, what was in the darkness?" "Shadow creatures." "Exactly. Creatures that came after you." "So?" Tina countered. "Your imagination created them. What do you think they did when they caught you?" "I don't know. They killed you." Tina gasped. "You're scaring the kids," Charlie scolded, inching closer. "Get away from me," Laura warned, and plucked the knife off the coffee table. He froze, his eyes locked on the bloody blade. "We're wasting precious time arguing." Donald threw back his arm, preparing to hurl the darkness. Tears began to drip down her cheeks. She didn't want to cry. She had to stay focused. Allowing these emotions was a mistake, but she couldn't help it. She wanted to save these people, but couldn't get them to accept her help. It was too much like the relationship with her father during childhood. The man who raised her and who she mothered in his alcoholic stupor, cleaning up after him, making excuses for him to friends, family, and employers for his irresponsibility, saving his butt time after time from being fired and losing relationships. And all the thanks she got were his criticisms of her butting into his life and causing problems. She had just wanted him to live sober, but he wouldn't. He never accepted her help or listened. Aiding these people in this room was far more difficult than she had anticipated. She had expected some resistance, naturally, but the greatest challenge, she believed, would come from reality, perhaps on the research grounds with the armed security guards. The irony killed her. The very people she wanted to save were hindering her. Hot tears burned down her face. She knew the liquid drops weren't real, but they felt as authentic as anything in this accursed world. Her emotions were real. She backed up, needing something more powerful than the switchblade. Where did Charlie say he stored that gun? The back closet on the top shelf, yes. If she could make it there, perhaps she could shoot Donald, eliminating his threat, then take out the girls. She had never shot a gun before, but she had dated a guy that used to. He had taught her how to hold it and line up a target in the sights. And besides, this was a dream. Perhaps with a little imagination, she could be a marksman. It was risky, but it was better than the switchblade. "All right," she lied. "I'll go. If you guys want to be left behind, so be it." She began to back her way towards the window by the closet, hoping Charlie wouldn't anticipate her scheme. "Just don't follow me or try to stop me." "The front door is over there," Donald pointed. "I'm leaving through the window," she continued, "so you guys won't follow." "She's going for the gun," Charlie shouted. Laura turned and ran for the closet. Graze ran as well. A smudge of darkness flew over her head, hitting a lamp on a corner table, swallowing it. She reached for the closet door and opened it as another dark gob blurred by her shoulder and hit the window with no sound at all, sucking up the glass with blackness. She reached for the top shelf, feeling around for the gun, the open door now shielding her. Graze stood beside her, facing Donald, barking incessantly. The door disappeared in darkness, causing the little dog to yelp and scamper behind a nearby chair. She felt cold metal and pulled the revolver off the shelf. She turned, avoided the swinging dark door by rolling onto the ground, another dark mass hurtling past her arm. She pulled the trigger in a crotch, sending a booming round at the others. Not caring who she hit first, now safely behind a large potted plant. One of the girls screamed. Charlie cried, "Oh, God, no, please, no," his voice finishing in tortured, choked sobs. He was kneeling beside his daughter. He picked her up in his arms, trembling. Blood began staining Tina's gray pajama top, sticking it to her chest.